In this box, we have the brand new Nike Mercurial Superfly 10 in the Air Max 95 colorway. But this isn't just a colorway. Some of the design and build of this particular boot actually changes the entire way that the boot fits, feels, and performs. So is it worth getting these, even if they do look pretty cool? First thing, let's get them out of the box. So you can see you've got this Air Max 95 inspired box, the Mercurial on the top, Air there. You can see Zoom Superfly 10 Elite AM for Air Max 95, Special Edition FG, and then the Air Zoom down the side here. It's a pretty cool, basically throwbacks call out to the Air Max 95. So let's get these open, and here are the boots. So these, they do look nice. They look a lot nicer than I was anticipating. So let's pull this out of the box here as well. Very, very nice. And then you get the string bag, so a couple of tags which are already taken off, and you get the string bag as well, which is the Air Zoom with the basically the Air Max 95 logoing in it. Really cool, nice attention to detail. I really like that you get the custom string bags, and especially the custom boxes. I just think that they do make a big difference to the presentation on paying that little bit extra for a special edition boot. Now, I don't own a pair of Air Max 95s to put out here to compare, but you can see that these are pretty well done. You've got all the various different layers of gray, you've got the black toe running through it, you've got the Air Zoom logo reminiscent in the top here. I like that the fact you got the Nike swooshes embroidered in the vault in the back, Nike Air logo through the back here, and then on the sole plate, instead of the big, do a quick comparison, the Nike swoosh and the Air Zoom, you actually get this, which is pretty cool. So you got 1995 here, Nike Air in the middle, and then the 2025 up here is PSI in the middle. So it's just a cool design. Again, all reminiscent, all throwbacks to the 95, and got that 95 to 2025 on there as well. I think it's really nice. I think that overall, that as a tribute to a boot, this is one of Nike's better ones, especially in terms of accuracy. It's probably the best one they've done, to be honest. I think it is pretty good. Now, for me personally, am I going to go out and wear this? Probably not. I think it's cool, I like it, but it's not necessarily for me, which is weird. I think some of that's because I'm not a sneakerhead. I don't really get into sneakers that much at all. And then I think some of it is, I just feel like for the first time in quite a long while, it's a pair of boots that I don't think I will wear. And I'll go out wearing anything, like bright pink boots, I have no problems. There's something about these that I just don't think I can pull off, despite the fact that they're awesome. And this is make me feel so old, but there's an awful lot of people who are going to be buying these and want to wear these who weren't born when these originally came out. I was alive when these came out, to the point where I remember them. So you'd think that I would kind of be a little bit target market, right? Maybe not, but that doesn't stop them being cool. It doesn't stop them being an amazing representation. But what we do need to talk about is the difference between this and this, and how that impacts performance, how that impacts fit, and why, if you're looking for just the pure best performing boot, I do think you should pick up these. And the only real reason to pick up these is if you want these looks and you want that Air Max 95 nostalgia. So not something I do a lot, but we will weigh these just as a comparison. Now, do bear in mind, obviously, that these are the Superfly, coming in at 189 grams in a US 8, UK 7. And then here we have the Vapor. So these are going to be a little bit lighter anyway, because they don't have the collar, and they come in at 181 grams, exactly the same size. So there isn't actually a huge difference in weight, which I thought that there might be because of how these are built. And what I mean by that is you've essentially got these layers that I pointed out earlier, and these are overlaid onto the top of the grip knit. So all of the grip knit here, you can't feel it at all. It's not there. This is a perfectly smooth surface. And these kind of layer on top of each other and they have stitching running through it. This is of course all just adding a little bit of additional weight to the boot. So I thought that would make a difference. And then here you have these kind of fluoro volt strips. Again, just a callback to the Air Max 95. I think this is done really, really well. And they're kind of bedded in between the grip knit and the internal liner, which I think is a really cool look aesthetically, but again, something I anticipated would add more weight. You've got the stitching here, even the heel design, it just seems to be a little bit more kind of structured, I suppose. It's just something where I expect it to have a bigger impact on the boot, but overall it absolutely does not. Just a quick one, the outsole is exactly the same. You still have the full length air zoom unit. They don't feel any different. This one feels a little bit more snappy at the moment to me because it's just not been used, whereas this one's been used a bit more, so it feels a little less. It's kind of softened up a little bit. But anyway, into the rest of it. The obvious thing here is the fact that this is your only area of grip knit. This white area on the top, when you strike the ball, when you touch the ball, the only place you're going to get the grip knit is on the top. And the best thing about this boot is the grip knit. Like, this is a really fantastic material. The extra kind of little bit of grip it gives, it's really well balanced. I just think that losing that is a massive detriment to what you're going to be able to get out of this boot. Then on top of that, I love this upper because it's just so soft. It's super, super soft and malleable out of the box. Now I've got two pairs of these. This is my less used pair and it's still very, very soft. And then these, not quite the same. It's just all together more structured, and this is the thing you can really feel. The structure and the overall stiffness of the boot is just increased when compared to the regular version. And this is all coming down to all those extra layers that have been added. All of this section here, all of those bands, and especially this in the toe here. So I noticed this when I put them on. This band here and the way that it stretches around stops the toe or this area of the boot from just stretching quite as much. Now I get a really nice fit in this particular boot, and to the point where I've said that for a lot of people it's going to be okay for a wider foot, but in here it just doesn't seem to stretch out quite as much with that extra structure and that extra stability. So it's not a problem necessarily, but if you do have the wider foot, you might have more of a problem with the Air Max 95 variation than you do with the regular Vapor. Then a big positive, despite the fact that you don't get all of that lovely, lovely soft grippy grip knit, is that just purely on feet, like I haven't been out and worn these or played in them, I'm really just showing you my first impressions here. The lockdown in these, the stability actually feels improved. So because you've got all of this extra material, you've got these little kind of lace, what are they? Lace bars? I don't know. It just feels like the whole boot has more structure, stability, and it does make me feel a little bit more secure throughout the boot. Now, for example, I was complaining, I pointed out that the lockdown in these isn't actually fantastic, especially for a Mercurial. This seems to create a little bit of extra lockdown, which is really, really nice, but it definitely comes at the cost of the softness, the pliability, and that grip knit touch on the ball. So the softness and the grip knit are the two best things about this boot by a long way, in my opinion. And I personally wouldn't be willing to get rid of those in order to get the better lockdown, the more stability. I think that this is better. I also think it's slightly more comfortable because the upper is slightly stretchier and slightly softer. So for me, this is very much a buy it if you like the looks, the vibes, because you can still get these. They weren't super, super limited. You can grab them if you head down to the link in the top pinned comment. Helps support the channel too. But I think the lack of grip knit is what would stop me from these being my like go-to Mercurials. It's not going to be to a point where it makes the boots bad or a disaster or anything like that. It does just genuinely take away the best thing about these and replace it with a small fix for something that wasn't a huge deal. So, great looking boots, really cool idea, not necessarily for me. And if you're asking me which one you should go and pick up, you should pick up a version of the regular Mercurial, not the Cosmic Speed, not these. Grab these instead, whichever colorway you like. That is the best performing option. And if you want to see more information about these, I did a big breakdown, click that video right there.